we will see the, it's a big topic, but whatever little things we will see basically from the Gita about the mind. See, whatever we do in this world and whatever we do to get out of this world is done through this body and mind. And that is the beauty of the human being. Human being arguably is the only living being which tries to go beyond itself. Even the very conception that there is a personality which is beyond body, mind, and other three koshas or sheets, coverings of the Atman or the self, call it by whatever name. This conception, we don't know. Of course, we can't talk to ants or we can't talk to spiders, but we believe that this conception is there only with the human beings. That human beings want to transcend, go beyond their body and mind. And how do we do that? Using the body and mind. Using the body and mind. And that is why it is all the more challenging, all the more difficult, because body and mind are material, but we have to use this material things to attain to our personality, which is spiritual, non-material. And then comes the problem. Our body or our Atman, that self, is shown in the scriptures to be covered by 5 coverings. First is the covering of the body, Annamaya Kosha it is called. Second, the covering of the vital breath, as it is translated in English, or prana, Pranamaya Kosha. Then Manomaya Kosha, then Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. Now these are the 5 coverings. But it is interesting that we stay either in the body level, in the Annamaya Kosha, or we go to the mind level, Manomaya Kosha. We kind of leapfrog that middle kosha, that is Pranamaya Kosha. We are not even aware. And some yogis, particularly Hatha yogis, who concentrate on controlling the processes of the body, they try to control the breathing process, heartbeat, etc. And some people get lot of success. They can stay without breathing for hours together. They can stay controlling the heart. They can stop their heart, etc. So definitely we shouldn't do that or attempt to do that. As you see these advertisements in TV, when they show some antics, they will say these are performed by professional people, don't attempt this. Similarly, these should not be attempted, but the point is that these things can be controlled, as Swami Vivekananda says in his Raja Yoga um, writings, that these can be controlled. And our problem is mainly with the mind. So we go from the body and we immediately jump to the mind. We are living in these two. Of Anandamaya Kosha, we are not aware of. Of Vijnanamaya Kosha, we are not aware of. In practice, what we are aware of is only 2 sheets or koshas, that is Annamaya Kosha, body, that we are definitely aware of, and Manomaya Kosha. So if we don't get to eat, it could be a small thing like tea or coffee, then we are in trouble. Many people get migraine attacks because they have not got the regular tea. And if somebody praises us, we are so happy. World is so nice, comfortable. And if somebody does not talk to us, maybe that person is busy, then we start thinking, why didn't this person talk to me? What happened to me? There is something. So we keep on thinking. So this whole thing boils down to body and mind, and mainly mind, because mind is what affects our body, and also mind is what disturbs us. You see, depression or psychological problems and all that. I once met a young student who went into depression for 2 years because she didn't have more Facebook friends. all her friends, and it is not joke, she went into depression. She had to consult 2 3 psychologists, and she was taking medicine when she met me, when I went to a college in Kolkata. So then I said, I couldn't even imagine that a person who thought that I have only 50 friends, my friends have 200 Facebook friends. So how is that? So she went into depression. So mind creates a lot of problem. And in Bhagavad Gita, about mind, very beautiful things have been told. And in two shlokas, in the second chapter, shlokas 62 and 63, the whole process of how we get into trouble because of mind is explained. You may be already knowing those shlokas. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangaha Teshu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti Vibhrama Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Of course, Pumsa means any human being. It is not only men, though some people wrongly translate it as men. So, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. What do people do? They meditate upon sense objects. So, it can be anything. It can be a mobile phone, it can be a laptop, or it can be a car, or it can be just a jalebi or gulab jamun, whatever. So, you meditate. How do you meditate? You just see. Most of us just see, and then we start thinking of that. We start thinking, oh, this is the thing, this is the gulab jamun, this is something. Whenever we are all basically at heart children, so whenever some child is said, told that don't do this, immediately the monkey in the child wakes up. So we want to do that. So similarly, it's only when we get this sugar condition or this diabetes, then we understand how much we love sweets. Before that, we don't understand. If somebody gets triglyceride problem or cholesterol problem, then everything which is with oil looks like nectar, amrita. So this is what. So this, or somebody has uric acid and the person eats non-vegetarian food, then everything non-vegetarian, or everywhere tomato, uric acid people should not eat tomato. So they love tomatoes at that time. All sauce, everything they want. So this dhyayato vishayan pumsa, from there the problem starts. Sangaha teshu upajayate. The moment you keep on looking at something, Swamiji in a different context very nicely explains. He says, why does a mother love her child more than anyone else? He says, because she has been looking at the child all along and she knows that this child is mine. Talking about concentration, he says that. So you do a thing over and over again and then you start liking that thing. So for every mother, the child may not be so good looking, but for mother, child is the most good looking child and very intelligent because of constantly looking at the child, constantly interacting with the child. Similarly, when we see a sense object, we see that, and because we are constantly seeing the sense object, we feel attached to that. Sangaha, attachment, upajayate arises. And that is what is very intelligently exploited by marketing people. Nothing. There will be some slogan they will make which will have no sense, but they will ensure that in print, in FM, in even caller tune, and in internet and in TV, everywhere you will hear that sound. After 1 week, all people start telling that same lyric. Like this, that motorbike company people, they brought this Hoodie Baba campaign. Hoodie Baba in itself means nothing. But after 1 month of that advertisement campaign, everybody was saying Hoodie Baba, Hoodie Baba. So the product is the same thing, but they try to force it down your throats by making some jingle and all that. So what we do, similarly with film melodies. The melodies, they are not so much based on classical ragas or something, but they keep on repeating the same thing. And the same technique was employed by rishis. What they did, if you read the shastras, if you read the scriptures, same thing is told over and again. so that we understand, because the basic truths are simple and few. So in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna also, you will see the same thing told through parables, etc. Because that is how our mind works. Repetition helps us understand things better. It helps us understand things and also soak in things better. And that is again the problem. This is one advantage as well as disadvantage. Because the moment you see something which is alluring, which is attractive to your sense organs, you want it. Sangha teshu upajayate. You want it. So first you see something, then you think of that thing, then you keep on seeing that again and again, and then you start wanting it. Nothing, it could be a new brand of cold drink or something. You want it. Then Sangat sanjayate kama. Then now you want it. Desire. A strong desire that I need that. And now maybe your doctor or maybe your spouse or maybe your parents or friend, somebody comes and tells don't eat gulab jamun because you have got diabetes. So this you should not eat. So the moment this is prevented, anger. Kamat krodho abhijayate. Anger arises. Swamiji says anger is crystallized lust. Lust is the crystallized form of desire. So when lust becomes too strong, it converts into anger. So then you say, oh, who are you to say? Oh, if it is a spouse, then who are you to say? Have I become a slave by marrying you? Who are you to say? Or if it is a boss, that I don't care. Or if it is a subordinate, then who are you? You are yesterday's person and our friend, what friendship you are. So whatever it is, our parents, then you are not parent, you are trying to put me into slavery, bondage, etc., etc. All these dialogues come, and finally you want that gulab jamun. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Now only all you can see is that gulab jamun. Nothing else you can see. You have lost all reason, all discernment, all discrimination, everything you have lost. Viveka has gone. Vairagya is already gone. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. And whatever you have studied, whatever you have in mind, whatever you learnt, all the culture, what you imbibed, everything is gone. Smriti vibhrama. Your memory has got confused. Smriti Bhramshat Buddhi Nasho. And because your memory has got confused, your analytical power is lost. You now don't know what is correct, what is wrong, what is proper, what is improper. Now all you want is to eat that gulab jamun. Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati. And because of that, now the gulab jamun becomes secondary, and you start hurting people, you start insulting people, you start calling names, you maybe also may beat or give one slap, etc. Finally what happens? Pranashyati. You lose yourself, you lose your life, you lose your whatever you are doing, you lose purpose of your life. And that is the summary of what happens whenever we dhyayato vishayan pumsa, whenever we just see or meditate sense objects. So what is the solution? Don't meditate on sense objects or don't contemplate on sense objects. Our body is made in such a way that to run it will need some food. It is made in such a way that it will need some kind of fuel. That it will take, but don't dwell on sense objects. If you cut it at the root, then the problem will be solved. So, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha, don't do that dhyana. Then automatically sangaha teshu upajayate will not come. Automatically there will be no attachment arising out of such contemplation. It's easier said, of course, than done. But there are ways to do it. And what is the way? The way is told in the 4th chapter, 10th shloka. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mam upashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhava magataha. So who reaches God? Who reaches the Lord? Or who reaches the supreme reality or truth or Brahman, whatever you may call it? Who reaches that? Madbhavam agataha. He attains to my bhava. He attains to me, Shri Krishna says to Arjuna. Who? Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha. One who has transcended, one who has overcome raga. See, that was the problem. Kama. That was the problem. And bhaya. How does bhaya come? Fear come? Dvitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is said that by two, wherever there are two, bhaya will come. One who is afraid of and one from whom one is afraid of. So for a lion should be there and a person should be there. Both there should be there, so to get fear. So talking about lion, one person was walking on the forest and he met a lion. And this person used to go to, this is a story of course. So this person used to go to Ramakrishna mission. So he had learned some shlokas, etc. And he used to do japa. So he considered himself spiritual. So this lion came in front and then that lion kept one paw on the shoulder of that person. So he felt very nice. Now that lion will not kill me because I am going to Ramakrishna mission doing this japa, listening to all these lectures by Swamis. So I have invested so much time, now the lion will not kill me. So he was telling, lion, you are so nice, you are not going to kill. So this lion was closing the eyes and so this fellow lion told, you keep quiet, I am doing Brahmarpanam now. So he got the joke, no? No, he didn't get it. So anyway, so the Brahmarpanam thing was going on and that is why that lion was doing that. So when lion comes, a person is afraid of the lion and lion is there. That is why bhaya comes. So vita, raga is attachment, bhaya is fear and krodha. Kamat krodho abhijayate. So krodha, fear and krodha, anger. Vitaraga, bhaya, krodha. But what of a person who has overcome all these things but has not turned his mind towards God? So there should be a purpose. Just like yesterday I was telling, you cannot do selfless action without having a conception of a higher reality, of God or Brahman or a supreme reality. Similarly, it would be pointless to have overcome fear, desire or anger without believing in God. Without believing in God. So, manmaya mam upashitaha. So he has to seek refuge under me. He has to seek ashraya with me. He has to surrender to me. Then what will happen? And that doesn't end there. Because this is not one-time affair. If there is a dam in a river, a dam is made in a river, then it is not one-time affair. You make the dam and you go away. No. A person is appointed, a whole group of people are appointed, they take care of the dam. Why? When water increases, you have to open the water and release it. Otherwise, the flood will come. And then when there is less water, then this dam water should be released so that people can use water. So the whole thing has to be carefully monitored and carefully maintained. So that is why similarly here we are trying to create a dam of what? Of desires, so that there will be no desire or there will be no fear or there will be no anger. But that is not one time affair. Because constantly we are coming in touch with sense objects. You are not closing your eyes or like horses, you have not put these things. What are they called? So dabla. So that is not put. So blinders, so that the horse will only look at in the front and run. So we are human beings. We are constantly attacked by temptations. We are constantly attacked by sense allurements. So we have to overcome that constantly. And that is why Sri Krishna says in the second line of that shloka, Bahavo Jnana Tapasa. So you have to do tapasya, but this is no ordinary tapasya. So people think, oh, I will not take food for one day. Nirjala Upavas. So I will do Nirjala Upavas. And what will happen? God will come to me or whatever. And I will not eat this. I will wear this dress. I will not eat this type of food. I will not eat onion, I will not eat garlic. It is easy. So people, general conception of spirituality is don't eat onion and garlic. Simple. Everybody can practice. But speak only truth, very difficult. So nobody will say that I will do that. If you go to Vrindavan, etc., you will see so many Babajis not eating garlic and onion. But they will have 4 sevikas. All moral corruption will be there. But they will not eat onion and garlic. And they will wear this dress and they will put so many tulasi malas and so many tilkas they will put. All these things are material and easy to do. So we will do it. But we will not do spiritual things. And so it is a tapasya you have to do. Tapasya not means sitting on standing on one leg or keeping your hands up or always standing. Not that kind of tapasya. But jnana tapasa. It's a tapasya of knowledge. It's a tapasya of jnana. Bahavo, and not once, but again and again, numerous intellectual austerity. What is this? Knowledge tapas, intellectual austerity. What is intellectual austerity? Suppose there is a watchman in a building. That watchman will, nowadays all these security people. So that security person will ensure who gets into the building and who goes out, takes out what, etc. So not everyone can get into the building and not everyone can go out taking whatever they want. So that person sees. Similarly, we should have a mechanism in our brain. We should have a mechanism in our brain. And the brain will monitor. What am I thinking? Am I thinking a good thought? No. Am I thinking a bad thought? Yes. Then I should not think it. Stop. We should say to the brain or the mind that don't think this. This is not good for you. Or are you thinking about God? Yes. Then think. Or why are you thinking? Why are you lamenting about somebody? So in front of somebody scolded you, you keep quiet. You have nothing to say there. But afterwards you come and think. And people generally think all these things when they're doing japa. They will say, ऐसा बोल दिया उसने, देख लूंगी उसको. So one rudraksha, one mala. So like that. So this type of thinking should not be there. Bahavo jnana tapasa. And you do that constantly. Keep on doing that. Why am I thinking of that person? I should be thinking of the God, Lord now. I should be thinking of my chosen ideal, my ishta. Why am I thinking about somebody else? So that then by doing this, what will happen? Puta. You become purified. You become purified. Your mind becomes pure. You become shuddha chitta. You become completely purified. And madbhava maghata. And only then you attain to the Lord. You go to the Lord. So by leaving kama, vitaraga means desire and or attachment, bhaya, fear, and anger, and also constantly thinking, constantly discriminating, constantly doing viveka, vichar, you become purified. And then you attain to the Lord. It is not a joke. It's not going to happen in one day. It will take maybe ages. It will take maybe births, lifetimes, one after another. But that will happen. So we have to have this hope and we have to constantly do this. But what happens if somebody doesn't do that? We can see only the body and the mind. Why bother about all these things? Khao, piyo, mauj manao. Why think so much like Charvakas? Charvakas, the philosophy you know. They say that rinam kritva kritam pibet. So you take loan. Now people are doing the same thing. Have credit card, 5 credit cards. 5 credit cards you have, and then this will floor limit. Acha. When that is over, you over this. You have 5 credit cards. Rinam kritva gritam pibet. May not be gritam, maybe some other thing. Or pizza, something. So they eat and they make merry, etc. Why? Yavat jivet, sukham jivet. Till you live happily, make merry. Why? Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutah. The body which is going to become ash, where does it, punaragamanam kutah? Where is it going to come back again? So make merry. Rinam kritva gritam. We are following exactly Charuvaka. This charu means sweet or beautiful words. So sweet words, we like sweet words. अच्छे मीठे बोल बोलो. Why? Truth may not be always मीठे. Why should you always want मीठे बोल? What happens? So suppose somebody thinks, what is these people? They have no work. Ramakrishna Mission monks simply giving lectures, and all these people, they don't know what is the world outside. They go to one 5-star, 7-star hotel, they will forget all their vairagya. Like that, many people have this wonderful philosophy. So profound philosophy. So what they will think? Mauj mana. Live in the present. This phrase is so badly misused. Live in the present moment. Just eat, make merry, and don't bother about what happened yesterday and also what will happen tomorrow. What will happen to them? Indriyanam hi charatam. Gita says wonderfully that those who follow only the sense organs, yan mano anu vidiyate, and follow their mind, just like whatever their mind says, they follow, and they follow their sense organs. Tadasya harati prajnam. What happens to them? Their intellect, prajna, their discriminative faculty, the discerning capacity, what is correct, what is wrong, is harati. That is lost. They lose their discriminative faculty. And what is the condition? Very beautifully it is told. It is like Titanic. Titanic shipwreck. So whole Titanic happens. What happens? Vayur navam iva ambasi. In ambasi, in an ocean, in water, Vayur navam iva. A boat or a ship which is caught in a storm, shipwrecked. So our life also happens like that. We become shipwrecked. So many people come to the ashram and say, महाराज जब हम छोटे थे तब हमको ये सब नहीं पता था, हमने बहुत मौज मस्ती की, अब समझ में आ रहा है, ठीक है, दे रहा है, दुरुस्त है. But many people don't come then also. So what is this? When I was young, I thought I will make merry, I will enjoy, and body was everything. Now I understand body is nothing, because now now I can no more enjoy. My all that Sri Ramakrishna tells that about somebody, Rabindranath Tagore's father, he says that about him, that now you have come to the ashrama when you are incapable of enjoying. So that they took offense, that whole Ravindra Tagore family, that Sri Ramakrishna told like this. But Sri Ramakrishna was a person who always spoke the truth. So people, they come not because they realized something, not because they understood that this life is pointless or hollow, but because they are no longer able to enjoy. Their sense organs have lost the capacity to enjoy. So such people are also there. So what has happened? Now they can't even enjoy now. They have forgot they have not forgot, the sense organs have lost the vigor of enjoying. Their machinery has stopped working. And then where do these people go? Neither ghar ke nor ghat ke. Na ghar ke na ghat ke. Neither this way nor that way. Had they realized that, in young age itself, they could have trained their mind. They could have spiritually trained their mind and made it capable of going beyond the body and mind. But no. And a person who goes after the sense organs, what will happen to the person? The sense organs themselves will wither away faster. That is the beauty. They will wither away faster because you are not caring about them, but you are just using them. And when a person does not get these sense desires, sense objects, cannot fulfill the desires of sense organs. These sense organs are withered away, but the desire is in the mind. It is not in the sense organs. That will not go, and the person is not able to enjoy. What happens to the person? Frustration. Frustration. So desire, expectation minus achievement is frustration. So always achievement is less than what we desire. We all desire much more than we can achieve. So the person gets frustrated, and then Vayur Navam Iva Ambasi. Total disaster. Person, you see this man who made the whole world laugh, Robin Williams. great comedian. What did he do? He committed suicide. Why? Why do you commit suicide? You, because of you, whole world laughed. But no, like in that Kabirdas Doha, when you come to this world, everybody laughs and you cry. Live such a life that when you will go away, that everybody will be crying and you will laugh. So this man, when he was in the world, he made everybody laugh and he also laughed. And when he went away, what? Everybody is laughing or crying, nobody knows. So the point is, the inner peace and fulfillment is not there. And so, Vayurnamam Imambasi means rudderless, directionless, without any direction. When a boat, without any direction, without any boatsman, without any person who can navigate the boat, is there in water, in lot of wind, what will happen? It will go to that side, it will go to this side, it will come, and that is the imagery. Vayur Navam Iva Ambasi. Just like a boat moving hither and thither in wind. That is the condition of a person who is indriyanam hi charatam. Yan mano anuvidiyate. Just like the mind demands or the sense organs demand, the person keeps on going behind the sense organs. So freedom of the senses, not from the senses. That person has this flight. And so Sri Krishna had warned Arjuna that Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajoguna Samudbhava, Mahashano Mahapapma, Vidyenam Ihavairinam. You see this Kama and Krodha. Krishna was responding to a question by Arjuna. Arjuna asked that all whatever you say I can understand, but Athakena, after Atha means after all these things you have told, I can understand. But Kena, by whom is mind propelled? And Baladiva Niyojiti means I am as though by force drawn to do things which I don't want to do. Anichannapi Varshneya. Oh, the follower of Vrishni dynasty, Anichannapi, Baladiva Niyojati. It is as though somebody is pulling me forcefully. And then Krishna replies that Kama Esha Krodha Esha. This is what? Who are these people who are pulling you? Kama and Krodha. And where do they come from? Rajoguna Samudbhava. They are born out of Rajoguna, the desire. Rajoguna, the primary characteristic of Rajoguna is desire. And to do something, action, restlessness. These are the characteristics of Rajoguna. And Mahashano. And these Kama and Krodha, they have great ashana, hunger. So they will gobble up everything. They will take your brain, they will take your culture, everything they will gobble up. And Mahapapma. And they will make you do lot of wrong things, misdeeds. Papma. We say Papa, Papa. Papa means what? What you are not supposed to do. Error. That's why Swamiji so nicely said, man does not progress from truth, error to truth, but from lower truth to higher truth. So error, any mistake you do is considered Papa. So Papa. Another thing is, if in Bible, nowadays Bible is available in soft copy or in the digital format in computer. So there you can find a particular word and replace it. If in Bible you just replace the word sin, you replace the word sin with prarabdha karma, the whole Bible will read differently. Just replace sin with prarabdha karma. I have got karmas, I have got sins. I am a sinner, I have done lot of karmas. So just change it with karma. The whole Bible will read like the Gita. There's no difference. So only we just call, in Bible we call it sin, in Gita we call it karma. That's all. So papma means what? Wrong deeds. All these strong deeds, it will make you mahapapma, vidyenam ihavairinam. Know that these are your enemies. These are your enemies. So Sri Krishna has warned Arjuna. And so we have to be careful of these enemies, that is Kama and Krodha, which is the same thing. Because of Kama, when it becomes intense and it cannot be fulfilled, anger comes. So these are the basic things we should understand, and we have to do that. Bahavo Jnana Tapasa. Ranganathananji used to constantly talk about that shloka, and he used to say Jnana Tapas, Jnana Tapas. Even in the lectures which he gave on the Bhagavad Gita, which have now come as 3 volumes in English, you will see this particular shloka has been explained for several pages, because he loved that concept that we can train our mind, we can train our brain, we can train our mind to constantly discern and discriminate. So that we should do to be free from Kama and Krodha, to be free from Kama and Krodha, and also to devote ourselves to the Lord. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.